Hello everybody, welcome to Short Shot Archery. Anthony here, and in this video I'm going to share with you my experience at the Arizona Cup. So this is a review of the 2019 Arizona Cup. I have a list of things that I really liked about it, and a list of things that I feel like could use to be improved upon, because, well, there is always room for improvement. I really just want to be able to share my thoughts and opinions on the things that I feel like need to be improved in order to provide a better archery experience for those attending the event. And the funny thing is that as I've been doing these, it seems like tournaments have gotten just even better. Now, I'm not going to take credit for this by any means, because there is a lot of people that do share their thoughts and opinions on things. I just happen to do it in video with everybody watching here, but it has had an effect. The tournaments do keep getting better, and I feel like they've increased more rapidly, at least recently, on the improvements that they're making. And at the same point in time, it seems like attendance at all of these events that I'm doing tours for and that I'm giving my thoughts and opinions on what's good and bad, they're all increasing with archers attending. So I think this is really paying off for the archery community, at least here in the United States. And hopefully, maybe this is something that other people want to do for their tournaments in their own respected towns, states, countries, just in order to provide a better atmosphere and just a better tournament setup for who's ever shooting, just get more people into archery. So let's start with all the really good things at Arizona Cup that I noticed that really stuck out to me. We're not going for everything like, oh, the lines were this or that. Bigger things, at least in my mind. First off, water station, fantastic as usual at the Arizona Cup. They're really on the ball this year. I even got waters at unofficial practice. I did go up and ask, and they said, sure, you can have one. And then that was the bottle that I kept returning for a new bottle every time through the rest of the tournament, through official practice day, qualification day, and eliminations. I just kept trading that water bottle in, getting a fresh new one, and then they collected all of those so we didn't leave all the trash on the field. Very cool, very professional, and it makes archery look really good overall, which we want, of course, because we want to be invited back to these venues and maybe even be able to grow from there into larger venues and just have a good representation of us and a good reputation for bigger venues in the future if we get those opportunities as the sport grows. So along with the water, there was ample porta potties, it seemed like this time. I didn't run into a line at all at any of them. Maybe there was at certain points, but there seemed to be more than ever, and other archers also commented on the same thing. They were like, oh, I think they have more porta potties. It's not like we keep track. I didn't count how many there was in 2018, and well, I didn't count how many there was in 2019 either. But there definitely seemed like there was more because there wasn't a line at them. There's been times in the past where it would be like 15, 20 people deep, and it's just like, oh, guess we're holding it. So that was very good. That seemed to be really taken care of. Either that or people weren't drinking water, but I'm pretty sure people were drinking plenty of water. It is Arizona, and you're constantly reminded by DOS that you got to keep drinking because you dehydrate really quickly out there because the environment's just sucking the water out of you. Next up is vendors. More vendors than ever. Lancaster was there as usual, but we had other ones such as Hoyt, K&K, AAE was there. Win and Win didn't show up this year, which is interesting. Who else was there? Feather Vision. I think there was one other. Not quite sure. But anyway, there was a good amount of just archery equipment and supplying vendors. Of course, Lancaster, you basically have a whole store there, which is fantastic. I usually pick up knocks and stuff because I'm always running out of knocks, and then I can save on shipping because knocks are cheap. So you always end up paying the shipping because you don't meet the... Yeah, so I like to save there. On top of that, they really had a nice, I felt like a nice layout for the food. They just had like a big food setup. A lot of people were looking for individual food trucks, and it seemed like they just had one parked and they had their own whole layout there. And then it was just, you know, a very easy route to get to. Then you got your food, and then you walked back to a very nice seating area, which they've always had in the past, at least all the years that I attended. But I don't know, I feel like they really stepped up the game of laying out how the vendors set up and then how the food's set up, and it just made it very streamlined and very just easy to, you know, work with and figure out. Next up is check-in. I got to check in, and others got to check in on unofficial practice day. Yes, this is awesome. I know, you know, it probably has to depend on the schedule, and not every tournament can do this, but it seemed like, I guess, they were ahead of schedule, or they had a lot done and they had extra people, so they went and started taking names. You could check in early, so you didn't have to check in on official practice day. So I opted for that because usually on official practice day, the lines are ridiculous. But, you know, that's just how it is, though, because you can only have so many people checking in, and, you know, people do seem to go up in groups. So it was really nice to be able to check in early. And I think it did cut down a little bit on the numbers of people that were trying to check in on official practice day. So I think that's a major plus, and I would really love to see that happen again and at other USAT events in the future, just because it just makes the whole tournament, again, flow just better. You don't have these huge mass of people trying to check in and causing just a mess. It's a giant traffic jam of people. So that kind of alleviated some of it, which is a good thing. And back to the food, there was a ton of people that were super excited about there being food this year on the Cadet and Masters field, which is Field 2. I think they called it the East Field. I was on the main field. It was compound, and it was senior recurve divisions, men and women. And so on the East Field, on the Cadet and Masters fields, in the past they indicated that they didn't have food. They had water, but they didn't have any food, so they would have to walk all the way over to us. And it's a good hike. I did not, you know, measure the distance, but I would say round trip has got to be at least a half mile. I could be a little bit off, but it's a good walk. It's really hot too, and you know that's a pain. You could hop in your car and drive over, but still, just the whole practice of it. It was nice that they had their own little food concession stand where they could get things freshly made, like hamburgers, hot dogs. I think they even had some chicken and things like that. You know, plus your normal like bag of chips or waters or Gatorades. They had all of that just for them too. So that was really smart. I just think a good idea. It also, I'm sure the food company was happy because you got a lot of impulse sales. Man, the kids love their food. Then again, the senior division loves its food too. But continuing on, next up, the music on the food. Next up, music on the Cadet and Master field was really good. It was a nice mix. You know, at a tournament, I don't, you know, care for a particular genre. You know, my personal life, I have particular genres of music I listen to, but when I'm at a tournament, as long as it's not something that's like really sad and really like slow beat, like we want we want a little bit of excitement. We don't need like sad slow love ballads going on here. It's just rough, and of course that's going to tie into something I didn't like. And the music on the senior field was quite the opposite. It was that slow, sad music. The Cadet and Masters, they had a nice mix of, you know, like a light hip hop, some alternative rock, country, you know, all that stuff in between. I guess some more poppy things, but it was a good mix. It was all pretty lively. It felt like, you know, it kept a nice atmosphere going on. For the most part, on the senior field, though, besides like half of, I think it was qualification day, I could be wrong, was the only time we had like real decent music. Everything else was just really, it really brings down the atmosphere of the shoot. I know it's a small critique, but I also wasn't the only one that was like, what what's going on over here. It was basically a majority of the archers, and music does, bring a certain, again, atmosphere and just tone to the shoot. And people are always, well, people on the outside are always complaining, or some archers complain that archery itself, like to watch and such, is boring. So shouldn't we have a little bit livelier music to make the sport itself more exciting? We're talking about appeal here. We're trying to grow the sport and just improve the environment for archery, because as the sport grows, it benefits everybody down the line, from the athletes to the people that are trying to become great athletes. It's going to help the kids. It's going to help the people that just enjoy doing it as a hobby. Everybody benefits from archery growing. So I think music is an important part to that. Now, before I get back into the things I didn't like, because we kind of hit on it there with the music, blank bail. There was more blank bail than ever. Some people thought it was the first time they had blank bail available. I believe there was a few last year, and they were actually facing the road, which was a little bit sketchy. Granted, the odds of somebody missing at blank bail are extremely unlikely, but at the same point in time, we want to avoid any kind of accidents in archery. Archery has an amazing safety track record, and we want to keep it that way. From all the numbers I've seen, we actually are safer than like bowling, which makes you wonder what they're doing in bowling. But yes, they had blank bail. A lot of people were very happy with that. And now into the things I wasn't really fond of, or things we could improve at least, maybe to make the tournament experience better. With the blank bail, it would be great to have a practice range again. I appreciate the masters and the cadets, having their own field, because there is only so much space on the main field. That's great. But is there some way we could get an official, a permanent practice field, somewhere where people can go to shoot when they're not either in qualification, or they want to warm up before elimination matches, or warm up before qualification matches? Maybe they want to check something on their bow, and usually the practice field's pretty empty. So then you can go play around with like bear shafts and fletch shafts and not have to worry about being in anybody else's way, if you're shooting them from 70 or wherever. And I don't know, I just feel like it does help the experience of the tournament. I know they usually do it at nationals, and it's just so much more convenient to have that dedicated practice field that you can rely on if you need to check something on your bow, or you just want to do some more shooting. Some other things I want to hit on too are they had a cart system, and they had a lot of people driving around on like these small motorized vehicles, which is great. But at the same point in time, man, I guess there's no like fume regulations on those things. There was definitely points in time that the exhaust fumes from those small little, and they're almost like quads or small golf carts. It was pretty rough on the line, and a lot of people were like, "What's going on here?" Ugh. So I don't know if there's anything we can do, right away about that. But if there's some way to improve that down the road, again, it's just adding to the atmosphere of the tournament. It's nothing like being outside in the great outdoors shooting arrows, and then you're like, "I can't breathe," because some person just zoomed on by in this super smelly little gas vehicle. Like, you don't smell, so the parking lot's full of cars, and you don't smell those, but this one, or these couple little vehicles outmatch them in like the smog output to a whole nother level. It was something quite interesting, and we actually haven't ran into that before at other tournaments. I know some people are probably like, but I don't know, it just wasn't an issue in the past, but we are using them more than ever, it seems like, because they were transporting people back and forth between the two ranges, which is great. I think that's a fantastic idea. Some people probably shouldn't go and walk that whole distance. I did, just because half the time I was filming when I was walking back and forth anyway. But with that, we'll continue on to trash cans. I felt like there needed to be a few more trash cans. I understand they were collecting the water bottles, and making sure they were off the field. But people bring other things. You're eating, granola bars or whatever, or you're bringing your lunch, and you have a a baggie that was holding your sandwich. All these little things, they have to get thrown out somewhere. And there was basically, I don't know, I only saw like 4 trash cans because I went hunting for them at one point because I had something to throw out, and it was way off the field, over by the vendors, and I'm like, this we could use more. You gotta supply. If people don't see somewhere to throw their item out, if they're not conscious to put it like in their bag, or maybe something they don't want to put in their bag, it's not like you want to go and put your eaten apple core into your bag. You want to go and throw that out. Well, if you're shooting on the line or something like that, it's not like you're just going to go walk over there to go and throw it out. You're just going to like put it on the ground. But the thing is, if you forget, then you're just leaving all your garbage, and then it makes us archers look bad. The venue's not happy about it, and then that doesn't benefit us in the long term. So a few more trash cans, I think, would have been helpful. Other than that, though, it was fairly clean. But again, there was a fair amount of trash there. Of course, less since they were collecting the water bottles and stuff. All right, and last but not least, the schedule for eliminations. There was a lot of conflict between, I guess, what they were telling DOS to tell us, and at the same point in time, what was posted online, what was posted at the tournament. There was a lot of confusion, and it caused a lot of delays. I do not have direct examples, but it was basically cases of they would indicate, oh, the 132nd round would be going at, say, 8 o'clock. And then it would say, oh, the 116th round begins at 8:45. So divisions that only had enough archers to be a 116th round and down thought they should show up later, which could kind of make sense. But it turns out, at least from my understanding, that they wanted to run everybody, the 132nd round people and the 116th, all at the same time, and that didn't happen. Now, I might have some of the little numbers mixed up, but basically there was a lot of confusion about it overall. That's just the basis of it. I don't quite have all the fine details, but I think we do need to do a better job at communicating, and before like things get announced or posted, make sure that like that is the set in stone. I understand, there's delays and things get stretched, further out, but you're already there. Like, I don't mind showing up at 8 o'clock and then, say, being delayed till 8:30 or something, but at least I'm there. If you tell me to show up at 9 and then you decide to move things forward to 8:30, odds are I'm not going to be there. And then that frustrates everybody. And then there's people being called up. They're like in the middle of breakfast. You need to be here because they decided to start early. You can't do that. I think we had like 500 archers or something. It's a good amount. It's the biggest group of athletes all together at an Arizona Cup, at a USAT event, other than Nationals, from what I read. We need a little better organization than this. And I know we can do better. We're capable of it. And that's why I'm making this video, because there's a lot of great things, a lot of things we're doing really well. And then there's some little things that we can just keep improving on. And there's always going to be improvements because, well, there's always improvement in archery, and we want to make this sport the best sport out there, the best experience for people coming to shoot, the most interesting sport for people to come and watch and experience, and just the overall atmosphere and just how the shoot runs. We want it to be great because, well, archery is a really awesome sport, and I want the world to be able to experience it the best way possible. So let me know in the comment section down below if there was little things that you saw that I didn't catch on to. Maybe there's something that I'm taking a little bit like too extreme that, you know, maybe I didn't realize it was less of an issue than it was. You know, again, I'm doing all this independently, so this is just my experience with it, and, you know, how I experienced it just as a shooter in this tournament. So thank you so much for watching. Definitely, you know, hope to see you at the next Arizona Cup. It is a great event, and with that, happy shooting.
Are you feeling me now?
Yeah.
Hi, Mom. I'll let you know how I did when I get home. Not bad. Not bad weekend here at the 2019 Arizona Cup. Anthony's doing a fantastic job.
But it's just so funny seeing her telling you.